Live. Welcome to The Process. It is Tuesday, November 30th. I'm Josh Engelman. I'm here to break down this lovely 5-game NBA slate where we've got 2 games kicking off at 7:30, another 3 at 10 o'clock. You can't really ask for a much better setup to a slate, so I'm pretty excited there. Before we do anything, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. That all helps me out a ton. You guys know I love seeing those likes climb. I hope you guys had some success yesterday. I had a lot of Joe Val, but I guess not enough totally. So no big wins or anything. 2 into the top 1%. That's the best that I could hope for. If I do that every week, I'll be happy. That should get me to where I need to be. So best that I can do. But it was nice to see Joe Val smash. It's nice to see everybody in chat right now. A lot of coffee cups, some donuts, a lot of good mornings. Good morning to everybody that's here right now. We got a lot to talk about. We'll be able to take our time, so to speak, through 5 games. It'll be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go. I'm excited to talk basketball, man. Thanksgiving really took the wind out of my sails. I just wanted to keep doing this, and I didn't have time to do it. So it's nice to finally just be back and have like a great week. It's a pretty easy day, all things considered. Like, it should be a pretty good slate to track. I like the 7:30 lock helps. I can cook dinner a little bit easier tonight. Keep your eyes peeled for my updates as we get closer to lock. But let's just dive into it. Let's talk some basketball. I've got my coffee. We're going to start here. Rise and grind. That is the motto around these parts. We're going to get our coffees, get our waters, get our teas, joints, ciggies, whatever it is that you've got this morning. I've got my cup here. Cheers to you. Bring that right up to the camera. Good morning, everybody. That is tasty. Whew, let's talk about that for a second. I'm going to switch to the other view. Actually, I'll leave it wide. So I made a bunch of cold brew yesterday into today. No, 2 days ago into yesterday. And really good concentrate. So I heated up a little bit of the concentrate that I made, just some hot water, seasoned it all up nice with my creamer and my Splenda and my MCT oil. That's delicious. So I think I've been having a problem with coffee as of late. I think it's been, I was taking in too much, like 40 plus ounces a day. And I think the acidity was starting to mess me up. So I'm switching to a cold brew method. We'll see where we end up. But that's delicious. I'm really happy about having that. Now, let's break it all down. Boom. There's the transition. There's the tunage in the background. Tuesday slate, 5 games, all brought to you by Prize Picks, the presenting sponsor of this show. If you have not signed up yet at Prize Picks, what are you waiting for? I'm just going to assume this is the first time you've ever seen this show or any other show that I do. You should sign up at Prize Picks. Use the promo code Awesemo when you do so. And you can see this written on the banner above. When you use the promo code Awesemo, you will get up to $100 on your first deposit. You put in 50, they'll match with 50. You put in 100, they will match with 100. Don't leave that money on the table. We've got player prop tools on the website for free that will help you out in everything you're trying to do at Prize Picks. So don't sleep on it. Go get that money. Go to Prize Picks. Justin Sports, I don't know, man. This is pretty good. All right. The real. So let's talk about that, because cold brew, protein powder, almond milk, boom, straight money. So this is something that I want to dip my toe into. How well does the protein powder stir in? Are you blending that? Are you doing that cold with like ice? I want to know a little bit more here. I probably wouldn't do the almond milk. Maybe I would. I don't know. But I've been thinking about getting, I've been trying to be a little healthier as of late, but I started going to Labdoor to look at like the most pure protein powders. And there was like a really highly regarded one that also was like a mocha flavor. So I felt like if I did some cold brew, protein powder, mocha flavor, and something else, I could make like a really good coffee-like drink around like noon or something that I think I would do really well with. So are you drinking, like, are you stirring that? Because that'd be great too, but I'll happily blend it if I have to. But cold brews do not suck. Just blender bottle. Okay, so you're just shaking that bad boy. Okay. I'm interested. Alrighty. Let's actually talk basketball. As much as I assume everybody wants to talk about the way that I'll take my coffee, I think that we can go ahead and dive into this slate. 5 games. Like I said, 2 games start at 7:30. The other 3 games start at 10. That's a just absolutely awesome schedule. Let's get into it. First game up on the docket. New York Knicks, 6.5-point dogs at Brooklyn. And if you were paying attention yesterday, you would have seen the news that Alec Burks is the new starting point guard for the New York Knicks. Kemba Walker is no longer a part of the Knicks rotation. Interesting stuff. This really is delicious. Cantor, appreciate you. It did feel pretty good seeing Joe Val go nuts. Although, so did 8 other centers. Like, I had 13% Mo Bamba at like 0.6% ownership or something stupid yesterday. And it was totally meaningless. And it was like, he went for 50 and I was just like, okay, cool. Vooch is going to beat this. And then like 10 other dudes were just as good. But Joe Val was on one. I wish I could have capitalized a little bit more on that. Ended up with a little bit too much Torian Prince, which I regret. Slightly better, Cantor. Slightly better. So let's go ahead and project out the Knicks, which it's gonna look a little bit different for the first time in a while. Let's get the depth chart over here. So for the Knicks, we know no Kemba. Q tag on RJ Barrett, Derrick Rose, Nerlens Noel, Taj Gibson. That's fun. Mongo, sorry. Alrighty. Well, if Alec Burks... I just got to assume everybody is in for right now for the Knicks. If Alec Burks is... Yeah, Keldon Johnson hurt me too. I didn't have a lot of him until swap. Like the Marcus Morris news and stuff. I ended up getting to more... I think it was Marcus Morris news. So some news came in later in that like 8 o'clock window where I ended up getting to more Keldon Johnson than I wanted to. I didn't have as much as the field, but he was a guy in a couple lineups that mattered to me. All right. Gotta focus. How many minutes do I think Alec Burks is going to play as the new starting point guard for the Knicks? I'm going to say 30. Right? Like, just because he's starting, I don't necessarily know that he's just going to play like a ton of time. quickly become the backup. Derrick Rose just plays his normal, like, 24 minutes. We'll go Mitchell Robinson in for 24. Nerlens Noel in for 24. Julius Randle in for 34. Man, like, it's a tricky rotation here for the Knicks. How many minutes are they trying to play for with, like, Rose, Quickly, and Burks at the 1 and 2? That's an important distinction. At least the 4 is easy. And then we can get Fournier in for, I don't know, 28. Who are we missing here? Who enters the rotation, too, is an interesting question. Do they just go down a spot? Because if we go to RJ Barrett at, I don't know, 32, that leaves me like a 12-minute rotation spot. Now, I think that Quickly and Rose could just soak up a bit of that time. So could Burks, for that matter. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they went 9-man rotation here when everybody was out. Even back here, they were doing a 10-man rotation. Obviously, Kemba Walker a part of that. Good morning, Baho. This Knicks rotation is interesting. I have no idea if they go 9 guys or 10. Because, like, Quentin Grimes can very easily just keep playing. There's no reason that he couldn't. But at the same time, like, I guess 18 minutes for Quickly is just wrong. Let's at least take him to 24. 24 for Quickly, 24 for Rose, 30 for Alec Burks. When you start doing that, it doesn't seem like they're going to go to a 10-man rotation. I'm going to give Grimes that rotation. I don't trust it right now. But I have a hard time thinking that Derrick Rose is just going to play a ton now. I mean, maybe we go to 26. Yeah, like I can't... If I do that, then Rose is just going to pop like crazy, and I don't think that's helpful. I am going to cut every rate here because I don't totally have a good feel for the Knicks right now. And it's a 5-game slate, so we've got plenty of time. Justin, I mean, I don't know if they need to do that. They just got plenty of guards. Although it's not all that different than last year, which is interesting. I don't know why they're doing it either. Like, Kemba's shooting 41% from 3. It doesn't make a ton. Like, I'm not surprised by it, but I don't think that Kemba Walker has done anything in this particular season where in, 20 games or whatever we played so far, like, he should just be excised from the rotation. Ricky, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. Yeah. I mean, constantly bringing the ball up is a completely different thing. But I don't anticipate him, like, he's just going, that's because he's the best player on the team. That to me, that's a little bit different. It's not that I don't think that, like, Julius Randle is going to be involved. I just don't think that this change makes it any different. Like, to be fair, I think he's more likely to have the ball in the main unit than as, like, a secondary guy. All right. Usage rates across the board. I can't imagine I'm going to be changing all that much here. Everybody just sort of looks bland and the same. So we'll start with Julius Randle at the top. He's got a 27.5% usage rate this year. I don't have to change any other rates. RJ Barrett's got a 22% usage rate this year. Derrick Rose will be an interesting one, 23.5. Evan Fournier's is oddly low, I believe, 19.5. Quickly's at 21 for this season. Alec Burks will be interesting. He's at 18 for the season. We can't go all the way to that spot. You would think his usage or his assist rate would go up. Doesn't appear that, like, that's going to be the case. This is just a really easy team to project. Mitchell Robinson's not all that interesting. Nerlens Noel is not all that interesting. Like, I don't really have anything else I want to add here. We are going to look at this Knicks team and say, I don't know who to play. That's how I feel. Yeah, like, I don't think this makes their offense better. I mean, I don't think it makes it worse, but it's not like a 41% three-point shooting Kemba Walker was clogging up the paint here. I'm not sure what it serves other than, like, if the goal here is just to play Emmanuel quickly more minutes, I think that's smart for the Knicks moving forward. I don't think it changes any of their offensive outlook. Does it make them better defensively? Yeah, probably. Kemba's terrible defensively. All right, we're going to Brooklyn. For the Brooklyn Nets, Joe Harris ended up having surgery. He's going to be out for an extended amount of time. No Kyrie, no Nick Claxton. So we know what we're doing here. This is the same rotation we've had pretty regularly as of late. We certainly have to give LaMarcus Aldridge some more minutes. I'm going to clear this entire rotation, just make it a little bit easier. Patty Mills is pretty firm for the 34 minutes. LaMarcus Aldridge seems pretty safe now at, I don't know, 28. $28 for Aldridge. Millsap appears to get like one rotation, and then Blake is out of the rotation. That's fun to deal with. So they can't just be not playing Blake. That makes no sense. But apparently that's true. Alrighty, going with it. So let's assume that Blake Griffin is not a part of this rotation for right now. I don't know how smart that is, but I mean, 2 straight games. Let's see. We've got James Johnson playing 26 minutes a game right now. We've got Kevin Durant obviously in for 36. Although, I mean, honestly, it should probably be 37. We'll go 37 on Durant. I'm going to go 37 on James Harden. The rest of this should fill itself out. So, Bruce Brown actually missed time. He was hurt, right? Yeah. So, Mills and Bruce Brown's minutes are the next most important. He plays, what, 26? So that leaves me 44 minutes for Javon Carter. Cam Thomas is now playing like 12 minutes a game. I mean, this just feels like Blake has to play. Like, they don't have enough bodies. I mean, I guess DeAndre Bembry still needs a chunk of time too. So let's give Bembry 26 maybe? I mean, Javon Carter played 3 minutes the last time out. Cam Thomas played 12. So maybe like 12 for Cam Thomas, 6 for Javon Carter, something like that. Rates should all basically be the same, but I do want to pull them just in case because we have time. I mean, I didn't hate that Fournier contract. The type of guy that they needed. And, you know, the one, I think a little bit more news came in. That last year's like non-guaranteed, I believe. It's not as bad as it seems. All right. Aldridge this year, 23.5% usage rate. We'll knock that down. Durant, 30.5. 7 and 10. Yeah. Harden, 27.5% usage rate. I'm going to make it 27 just in case. Assist rate looks good. Rebounding rate looks good. James Johnson, bump him up to 13. DeAndre Bembry, 12.5. Bruce Brown, that'll be a big one. 13% usage rate. Lock that in at 14. All right, let's look at this Knicks Brooklyn game. I know that we spent a lot of time there, but I think we had to. I think the Knicks look awful. Theodore, if the Lakers are trying to trade Talen Horton-Tucker for Robert Covington, they are just going to continue to get worse. That's a terrible trade. It makes no sense for the Lakers. Covington is like the last thing they need. They need guards. I don't like anything on the Knicks today. Like Julius Randle for 8,500 on FanDuel. Clearly looks good. I'm projecting him a tenth of a fantasy point per minute ahead of where he's been for the last 30 days. And he's still just like, meh. I don't get it. It just doesn't look all that great. There's not a single advantageous price on the New York Knicks today. No, I would rather have Fournier than Bullock just for the secondary creation. All right, for the Brooklyn side, James Harden is 10K on FanDuel. That price looks really good. I think it's reasonable to get to Harden and Durant on DraftKings. I think they look pretty similar. But I definitely prefer Harden to Durant on FanDuel, where he's $1,000 cheaper. After that, like Aldridge's price is already up. You know, Bruce Brown, James Johnson, good luck flipping that coin. This first game is really hard. I know we spent a lot of time there, but I think it's well warranted. Let's get to game number 2. Memphis Grizzlies, 4.5-point dogs in Toronto. Don't have any idea what's going on for Memphis other than we know that we're not going to have Ja, and this is about to look a lot different. Zaire Williams, also questionable. I'm starting this entire rotation from scratch because no Ja is a gigantic piece. We saw Ja miss on Sunday. This was not the type of game that you would normally expect. Has Popcorn Machine updated? Huzzah! Popcorn Machine back in business. Nice to see you. So Memphis won by 27, but we'll look at the first half because I think that's the most important piece. We don't have to pay attention to Tillman, Culver, Sante Aldama, Killian Tilly. So we saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Saw a 10-man rotation. We saw Tyus Jones get the start, played normal 8-minute starting rotation, but then started the second quarter as well, and then played a little bit to close the second quarter. So they put Tyus in for the second unit. They ran Desmond Bane as the extra third unit, which means extra third rotation, which means Bane was on the second unit with Melton, Kyle Anderson, Zaire Williams, Brandon Clark. That's probably a good spot for him, too. Ooh, okay. So let's do the pieces that we know we have to do. Steven Adams, I assume, is just going to continue to play like his normal whatever he does. 22 minutes a game. Maybe 24 minutes a game against Toronto. No, 22 feels about right. I doubt the Knicks trade Kemba. They could, I guess, but they could. A John Wall Kemba swap won't work. John Wall makes 5 times as much money as Kemba Walker, and the Knicks have no need for John Wall. Okay, so backup center run. Because I think getting Memphis correct is important when Ja leaves. Like everything gets upended with no Ja Morant. So getting it right from the beginning is going to be pretty important. So we get Steven Adams in. When Steven Adams came off the floor, I mean, Brandon Clark was the straight backup there. That's I mean, not that I'm surprised by that, but so we've got Brandon Clark as the straight backup. Adams had 3 fouls in his first rotation. Did not pick up another one in his late rotation. So we're going to say Brandon Clark gets most of the backup run. Do they go to a Ja backup run or a Jaren Jackson backup run at any point? Yes. Third quarter, they did go to a Jaren Jackson at the 5 stretch. So I'm going to go 23 to Steven Adams. I'm going to go 21 to Brandon Clark. And then 4 minutes at the 4 or at the 5 for Jaren Jackson. Crispy, what up? I think the goal for Jaren Jackson is going to be like 28 minutes. So let's do that. We know Tyus Jones is going to start at point guard. I would fully expect him to just play like a normal starter run. So something like 30 minutes. I guess the backup point guard was, largely DeAnthony Melton. So let's pop his 18 minutes in. Jaren Jackson's backup was mostly whoever you want to say between Zaire Williams and Kyle Anderson. But I don't think either one of those guys is playing like a chunk of minutes that's crazy. So I'm going to go 22 minutes to Kyle Anderson. We're going to do 18 minutes to Zaire Williams. Now we get Dylan Brooks in, who I assume is going to project like a crazy person here. Brooks also played the staggered rotations too. So basically everybody did. Which is kind of weird. I mean, Dylan Brooks is just going to play those 32 minutes. Desmond Bane is going to play like 30. Both of those things feel right. I mean, Bane was playing 30 to begin with. Honestly, he was playing 32 in competitive games. So I'm going to go to 32 on Bane. I don't know if we can get there on Brooks yet. But I think Bane is going to be the guy that's playing the most minutes here. I mean, he was by a mile. Actually, 32 might even feel low. I do want to bump up DeAnthony Melton because I think that it's not just going to be 18 minutes. I mean, he played 7. Yeah, let's get that to 24. And then John Conchar just gets like 10. Memphis is about to look super interesting. I have no concept of what these rates are going to look like, but luckily, this is an easy team to project because it's the same guys all the time. All right, with no Ja Morant on the floor this season, Tyus Jones has a 16% usage rate. I mean, nothing changes for Tyus Jones. That's just what he is. Dylan Brooks has played 73 minutes. He's got a 35.7% usage rate. The one thing that I want to check on is Desmond Bane. So 22.7% usage rate for Bane this year with no Ja. It's going to go down, but I want to see how much it goes down if I include last year as well. And the answer to that question is 18. So I'm going to go to maybe 21 for Bane. Dylan Brooks, including last year, had a 30% usage rate with no Ja. I mean, that's absolutely what I'm putting in. Doesn't do anything else while he's out there. Bane doesn't really do anything else while he's out there. Brandon Clark's rate doesn't really matter to me. Jaren Jackson will be the big piece here. Since last season, Jaren Jackson Jr. played or has a 31% usage rate with no Ja Morant on the floor. That feels a little high, but I'm going to bump it up quite a bit. That's for sure. Nobody else has like the ability to take it. I actually should probably take Joval off too. All right, 129 viewers, 63 likes. We're at the 7 o'clock mark. If you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, do so now. What is Steven Adams' usage rate, and why don't I have it in here already? Done. Does Jaren Jackson rebound more? No, not really. All right. I like that for Memphis. Tyus Jones is, I think, maybe like flat min on FanDuel. We're about to see like a crazy value. Let's look at Toronto. On the Raptors side, what do we know? Q tag on Trent, no Anunoby, no Birch, and obviously no Goran Dragic. So let's just gut this whole rotation. So this is turning out to be a really, I don't want to say difficult process show, but we've got a lot that we have to do. I think that's fun. So I hope you guys think it's fun as well. Let's work our way through Toronto. Again, no OG Anunoby. I'm going to assume we get Gary Trent, but let's read the blurb first. Upgraded to questionable for Tuesday. I mean, he's going to have shoot around, so we have to assume that Trent is playing. So immediately it's 38 minutes for Fred VanVleet. This much we know. It's going to be 36 minutes for Pascal Siakam. It's going to be 36 minutes for Scotty Barnes. Based on everything that I see here, Precious Achiuwa is about to play 30 minutes easy. I'm going to go 31 on Achiuwa. And then, assuming Gary Trent plays, I think he just immediately steps into 35, 36 minutes. So the rest of these guys are pretty easy to then deal with. Backup center to Precious Achiuwa is not any of those guys, which means that it's Siakam. So that works. I'm going to move Scotty Barnes more to the 4 as well. What do I have him in here for? 36? Okay. And then we'll get Yuta Watanabe in for 14 minutes. That's an easy rotation. Malachi Flynn is now the backup point guard in this spot. So we'll give him those 10. We give Banton 13. We give Svi Mikhailuk 20. And then I just start throwing extra minutes at other people. So Malachi Flynn gets to 14. Banton gets to 15. We'll go 16, actually. Watanabe to 15. All right. OG Anunoby's rates don't matter. Actually, none of these rates probably matter. I think everything that I have in here should be correct. At which point, whoa, baby, are we going to be playing Toronto? Because let's not forget, Memphis, 6th fastest team, Toronto 26th. This is a big pace up spot for Memphis. So on the Grizzlies side, Tyus Jones for 4,600, I think looks pretty solid today on FanDuel. 5,200 on DraftKings is all right. I mean, he's a 0.9 fantasy point per minute guy. I got him in for 0.99 right now. Nothing too crazy. Dylan Brooks for 5,800 on FanDuel, a much better option than the 7K price tag on DraftKings. Not a lot to love for Memphis on DK, but they look a little bit better on FanDuel. Speaking of teams that look good, holy hell, Toronto. You got to jam Toronto today. 8,400/8,700 for Fred VanVleet. Yes. Pascal Siakam is 7,500 on FanDuel. That might be the best play of the day. I mean, Precious is 4,400 on DraftKings. If he's playing 30 minutes, what are we talking about here? He's a guy that you just sort of have to have. Let me look at Toronto this year. I don't even necessarily think that I need to take OG Anunoby off the floor. I'm going to just do a little tweaksy on the rates here, but Pascal Siakam, since he's been back, 24% usage rate. Okay. Scotty Barnes, right at 20. That's fine with me. Fred VanVleet, 24% usage rate this season. You know, I think 23.5 makes sense. Gary Trent, 20.9. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So I don't have much I want to change. I love VanVleet. I love Siakam. I love Barnes. I like Gary Trent today. I think that's reasonable, especially for 5,400 on DK, shooting guard, small forward. I mean, Precious looks good. All 5 guys for Toronto look fantastic because of this pace up spot. I'm going to be highly recommending the Raptors. Let's move it on. Game number 3, Golden State Warriors. This is the game of the night. I don't know how I'm going to watch this one, but I would really like to. Golden State at Phoenix. 2 of the best teams in the league. Phoenix on a 16-game win streak or something like that. So we're going to start with the Warriors side. Oh, God, I just really want to watch this. It's just so late. For Golden State, no Iggy, no Wiseman, no Damian Lee, no Klay Thompson, Draymond available. Phoenix, everybody that could be in is in. This one should actually be pretty easy, and I could potentially see Golden State running like a mildly tight rotation here. So we got Steph in for 35 minutes. We've got Draymond in for 32. We got Wiggins in for 34. Looney being in for 24 doesn't seem right. Let's take him to 22. I'm going to take Moses Moody's minutes. I'm going to take everybody that doesn't play a shit ton of minutes is going to come out of this rotation for right now. Jordan Poole, I probably need to give 32 minutes to. Now, we've had no Damian Lee these past 2 games, so Chris Chiozza has become like the backup point guard. Sure. Otto Porter continues to play about 20 minutes. Let's give him 21. Juan Toscano-Anderson continues to play about 21, 22 minutes. Sure. That works. Gary Payton in for like 14. Sort of works for me. We also need to go to Bielitsa, I guess. So let's do 11 minutes there. I mean, I guess this is pretty easy, huh? We'll do something like that. Because we know we only care about 4 things here. Wiggins, Draymond, Poole, and Curry. And this is obviously not a great matchup. We'll see if Phoenix looks any different, but I doubt we're even touching this rotation. Has anything changed? So we've got Chris Paul in for 33 minutes. Do I think that could be 34 in a day like today? Maybe. 34 for Book. Should probably be 35. You know what? I am going to bump every one of these guys. Ayton, I'm happy with 32. Mikal Bridges needs to be 36, though. I mean, that's just what he's playing. Cam Johnson, 22 minutes. Yeah, it's fine. Landry Shamet can definitely go to 19. Campaign, I got in for 16. I could happily make that 18. No rates needed to change for Phoenix. So now we're just looking at arguably the best basketball game you'll see this regular season. And I think Andrew Wiggins for 6,400 on FanDuel is the best option. We're still not seeing a ton of value. There's going to be so much Toronto today. It's not like I like Golden State. They all look relatively similar to each other. So I'm fine here with Golden State. I mean, maybe I want to bump up Steph a little bit. Do something like that. Not like it's going to matter all that much. And then on the Phoenix side, Devin Booker and Chris Paul, 7,900 and 8K on FanDuel look all right. I think Ayton for 7,100 on DraftKings looks pretty good. Bridges is just so expensive. So it's really just Booker, Paul, and Ayton as the priorities. Let's save this. Gambit, Yahoo will give us your information and we'll reach out to you. Otherwise, you'll want to email support@awesemo.com. All right. Pistons, 9.5-point underdogs up against Portland, 215 total. What do we know about the Detroit Pistons for today? Let's get rid of yesterday's crunches and late swaps too. Nope. Because we're going to be running some crunches shortly. For the Pistons, Killian Hayes is back. Frank Jackson is questionable with a right tibia injury. On the Portland side, Q-tag on Norm Powell. Didn't play the front end of the back-to-back. We'll see here moving forward. I'm assuming he doesn't play, but I don't know. There's no way for us to know right now. It's kind of annoying, too. All right, so if Killian Hayes is back, he missed 4 games. He did play on Sunday, played 28 minutes. I'm going to assume he's just going to play like 27 minutes again, and then we get Corey Joseph just straight up backing him up. We'll go 27-21. I think Cade is just firmly implanted in 34 minutes. I think Jeremy Grant is firmly implanted in 34 minutes, as is Sadiq Bey. Luka Garza did not play, which means... Oh, yeah, because Isaiah Stewart is back. Duh. So let's get that fixed. Isaiah Stewart in for 27 minutes. And then Trey Lyles in for... Let's do 16. Kim, congratulations. I would have suggested for you to take out PJ Washington in that scenario, but it did help a little bit. He did knock down a ton of threes. You are right, SMP. Bay is going to pop aggressively. You can see it already right here. Josh Jackson, I don't know what to do with his minutes. Hamidou Diallo, I'm going to take him down to 18. So we have 29 minutes to give out to Frank Jackson, who I think is just going to play like 25 if he's in, 26 maybe. We'll go 24. That just sort of leaves me like spillover garbage minutes to Josh Jackson. Feels a little incorrect. Don't know who else I would take those minutes from, though. And Josh Jackson doesn't matter, so there's also that. I do want to pull these Pistons rates. 164 viewers, 92 likes. If you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, do so now. That will help out a ton. Isaiah Stewart's got a 14% usage rate on the season. Jeremy Grant is chilling at 26.5. Killian Hayes is at 14 for the season. Sadiq Bey, 20.5. Cade, 25. All right. I'm happy with the Pistons. Portland news is kind of annoying. I assume we should just treat Norm Powell like he's not playing, but let's look and see if we had any sort of update. Yeah, I mean... Let's look at the tweet from Cassidy Holdup. Was there any info in it? Nope. All right, maybe we just assume that Norm Powell plays today? So at this point, he's only missed one. He missed yesterday's game. He had off Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Does he play the back end of this back-to-back? That's the distinction we're looking for. Does he play the back end of a back-to-back? For right now, I think that we have to assume that he does. So we're going to take out Simons and McCollum, or McLemore rather. We're going to take out Nas Little and Covington and Snell. I think I can maintain Nurkic at 25 minutes here. Larry Nance probably has too many minutes in here. Cody Zeller might also, but I think we'll be all right here. So we'll fill this out. Covington minutes went back down again for this past game. We saw Simons play quite a bit more. That is I think we can assume that Simons is sort of that guy now if Powell is out. So at the very least, Simons is going to get those minutes at the 2. We're going to give Powell the 30 minutes he normally plays. That lets us give Robert Covington 28. Larry Nance to 22 seems about right. Or at least 20 maybe. And then we get Nas Little in for 22. 9 minutes to Tony Snell. Alrighty. We'll adjust some of the Portland rates because I did change them a bit yesterday for no Powell. Nice, we hit that 100 like mark. Appreciate all of you. All right, rates out. Dame is first. 27.5% usage rate this season. CJ is second. 25.5% usage rate this season. Nurk, 21.3. It's exactly where he is, which is hilarious. Larry Nance is at 14.5. Nas Little, 15.5. Norm Powell, this is the one that matters, 21.5. And then Robert Covington at 10.5. All right, let's look at Detroit and Portland. For Detroit, Sadiq Bey, 5,400 on FanDuel, going to be one of the more popular options for today. I don't really see a scenario where we get away from him. I just assume that he shoots better as the season goes on. I think Cade looks pretty good. Isaiah Stewart for 4,600 on DraftKings looks pretty good. Jeremy Grant's a pretty tough sell. I won't be paying the 8,100 for him. He'll be an easy fade for me. On the Portland side, it's Dame and CJ. No surprises. Nurk at 6,400 looks pretty good. You know, you can make a case for Powell. You can make a case for Covington for 3,900 on DraftKings. It's mostly Dame and CJ. I'd say I probably prefer CJ. I think he's just a little bit easier to get to. But now we can close it out. Final game. LA Lakers. Actually, technically the Los Angeles Lakers, not LA Lakers. That would be the LA Clippers. But Lakers, 4-point favorites in Sacramento. Don't really know what we got going on here. On the Lakers side, Q-Tag Avery Bradley, Q-Tag LeBron. I'm just going to assume everybody's playing. And then on the Sacramento side, doubtful on Harrison Barnes, Q-Tag Mo Harkless. What in the world is getting talked about right now? Yeah, I mean, Christian Wood is not going to Brooklyn. All right, let's do this Lakers team. Most of this is going to be easy, right? Like, we got Russ in for 36 minutes. Got Malik Monk in for 23. I got LeBron in for 34 minutes. It appears that they're already breaking that in case of emergency. DeAndre Jordan needs more time. We're going to take him up to 16. Dwight Howard wasn't in the rotation last time out. I don't totally know what that means. Avery Bradley's minutes can probably come down a bit. Melo can probably stay there. Talen Horton-Tucker can go to 27. I don't know why I have Anthony Davis projected for 40, but that seems unnecessary. So let's get... Man, is Dwight Howard going to be back in the rotation? He is, right? Like, that's just going to happen. That's just going to happen. Gambit, no, I didn't see the article. He said he liked how that went, only playing one center, and will sometimes use Dwight and sometimes use DeAndre. Okay. That's fine. I mean, I don't really... it's not something I'm going to read into too much for this particular moment, but it is relevant moving forward. I got to see it in practice first. I don't know why Wayne Ellington doesn't play more. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I need to free up 2 minutes from somewhere. Obviously, they're going right there. All right, so that's the Lakers. I have no changes that I need to make. Once again, I'm going to be playing a shit ton of AD. It's always fun. I mean, that's exactly what they should be doing. So kudos to Frank Vogel for figuring out how to be the coach. All right, Sacramento. And this is going to be Sacramento with no Harrison Barnes. Potentially no Mo Harkless, but that's a little bit less interesting. I don't even know what to make of this. So let's start building the rotation for Sacramento. We're going to have... 35 minutes for De'Aaron. Let's go 34 for Fox, since we do have a new coach here. I don't want to go too crazy. Rashawn Holmes, 28 minutes, 30 minutes. Is it 30? Hasn't played the last 3. Did I miss something here? No, off the injury report. Let's assume that he's coming back and playing 28 minutes. And that the backup center run is going to go to somebody for sure. Feels like Tristan Thompson. But I can't give him 20. Are they going to split it? Who the hell is going to play backup center today? Philip, Metu started in Barnes' stead. All right, let's get the rest of these guys out of the way then. So we've got Fox. Let's lock in Davion Mitchell for... Oh, boy. What, like 28 minutes? And then we go to 34 on Halliburton. And 30 on Buddy Hield. That just helps to thin it out a little bit. Are they just going to split Len? I mean, they even played Damian Jones. Like, this team has so many centers. Like, Tristan Thompson's not going to play. I'm going to go 12 minutes to Tristan Thompson and 8 minutes to Alex Len. I assume we're going to see Chimezie Metu in the starting lineup again. If we look at Sacramento, Metu started on the 26th and the 28th. So both games that did not have Harrison Barnes. It was a blowout here against Memphis. Wait, that Lakers game went to like multiple overtimes, didn't it? Yeah, 3 overtimes. Okay. So let's look through this for right now. Metu, normal rotation to start and close the second quarter, played 10 minutes and 5 minutes. So he was on his way to play 30 plus, easy. No, I think we have to assume that he does. The problem is he didn't play the fourth quarter, and not because of fouls either. Didn't play any of the fourth quarter, basically, or any of the overtimes. So I guess we can't assume that he's going to close, and that the 25 minutes that he played is sort of the correct projection for him. Williams should have got away from PJ Washington when he wasn't starting, but nothing you can do on LeVert. Weird one that they started TJ McConnell. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect Goga, as we talked about on the show, but I certainly didn't expect McConnell. All right, so the true closing lineup for the Kings here was Bagley, Hield, Len, Halliburton, Fox. Now, obviously, you can just swap out Len for Holmes. They're not doing anything weird there. So 24 minutes for Metu. Does that just become 24 minutes for Bagley? Is that the direction they go? Why Metu didn't play the fourth quarter and the rest of overtimes is bonkers to me. Truly bonkers. Who was minus 20? Oh, yeah, Davion Mitchell. I remember see that. Okay. All right, Len started over Tristan Thompson, so I'm at least going to flip-flop those minutes. Might be Tristan Thompson that just sees the bench. I don't know how I feel about 24 minutes for Bagley, but I mean, it makes some sense. I don't know who else it's going to be. I guess Terrence Davis is going to need some extended run. Mo Harkless is going to need some minutes if he's playing, but he basically got the bogans. Is that it right there? Because that's everybody's minutes. That's a 10-man rotation. But I also don't have Terrence Davis on the floor. Now, Mo Harkless is going to play over Terrence Davis. That is faux show. But who am I over-projecting? Oh, I've got Davion Mitchell in for 28 minutes. And I don't think that's a reasonable stance to take. Although, he did play 30 minutes in 2 of his last 3. I mean, Halliburton's minutes can't change. These minutes can only come from the 5. Unless we don't think Buddy Hield plays 30. I think this works. I think 24 for Bagley just seems like too many. It really does. Like, even just looking at the blowout here, it was still Bagley on pace to play 22 minutes or something. I think we're going to be okay here. Well, that's the Lakers in Sacramento. We're in an hour already. I wish I were moving faster, but I'm not. I love AD. He's going to be one of my favorite plays today. Look, for as much as people want to rag on AD this year, he's been really good from a fantasy perspective. 1.39 FanDuel points per minute over the last 30 days. That's better than Russ. That's better than LeBron. Like, it's Anthony Davis on a per minute basis. If we're willing to include Willie Hernan-Gomez and JaVale McGee, which I would say that we shouldn't, Anthony Davis has the 5th highest fantasy point per minute rate this season, behind Giannis, Jokic, Curry, Luka. By the way, when I say this season, I mean the last 30 days, but that's basically it. Giannis, Jokic, Curry, Luka, AD. We rag on this dude too much. I like him tonight. Russ for 9,600 on FanDuel looks solid. I probably won't get to Braun. For Sacramento, De'Aaron Fox, 7,600. I actually probably need to touch these Sacramento rates too. And then we can start running crunches. Let's take Harry Barnes out of there. Let's take Harry Barnes off of there. So Buddy Hield, no Harry Barnes on the floor. 26% usage rate for Buddy Hield. That's intriguing to me. We get De'Aaron Fox with a 29.5% usage rate in that spot. Basically no assist rate. I can't kill him that much for it. Tyrese Halliburton, 15% usage rate in that spot. Rashawn Holmes, 19. Bags. I'm just going to let that one play out as it does. Davion Mitchell, 20% usage rate. Metu, 20% usage rate. We'll let Bagley hash itself out. Well, yeah, it's Fox, it's Halliburton, it's Holmes on DraftKings, it's, Bagley to a degree, Metu to a degree. Lots of weird stuff for Sacramento today. Let's run some crunches. Let us run a few crunches, figure out what we doing here. Boom. Guys, if you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, please do so. Helps us out a ton. 190 viewers. We're over 100 likes. This has been a great show, honestly. I feel like I've been in a pretty good zone. I might have rambled a little bit, but I'm happy about it. Optimal lineup on FanDuel by 0.3 of a point. Dame, Tyus Jones, Halliburton, Bane, Scotty Barnes, Sadiq Bey, AD, Siakam, Precious Achiuwa. You could also swap Dame to Van Vliet and do nothing else. Those guys are just separated by 0.3 of a point. Who's better right now, Bagley or John Wall? John Wall. All right. Power rankings on FanDuel. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. I did not expect this to be Scotty Barnes. But I guess I should. 3 out of the last 4 days, 37, 39, 40. Price isn't moving all that much. You're looking for 43 on a 5x plus 10, so you'll be happy with 39. He's there in the power rankings. Barnes at the top, AD, Tyus Jones, Siakam, Precious. Dylan Brooks is 6th in the power rankings. CJ, Sadiq Bey, Wiggins, Cade, Van Vliet. Cantor, let me look. So if I take randomness off, optimal lineup is 328.2. If I lock Dylan Brooks, $327.9. So basically not at all. Like 0.3 of a point. You lock in Brooks. Let me move it over. View, no. Copy. Crunch 3. So it's not that one or that one. So there we go. You drop down 0.3 of a point if you want to get Dylan Brooks in. You swap out Bane for Brooks. You go Dame to Fox. And you swap Tyrese Halliburton for Cade. I think that looks good. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Jay, I wouldn't. I mean, if Houston would trade John Wall anywhere if they could, that's the problem. They can't trade him anywhere. John Wall makes too much money to be traded for anything of value, and I doubt they want to eat. They don't want to pay any assets. Houston has no incentive to trade John Wall. Here's the deal. They don't want to give up anything in addition to John Wall to not pay him. They have no reason to not keep him and pay him because they don't give a shit if they win. So John Wall getting traded is very, very difficult because it's not in Houston's best interest to do so. No, Rose isn't starting, Gambit. It's Burks. All right, DraftKings, Optimal, and Power Rankings, and then we are done. Let me close one of these windows first. Save this. So, first up, Optimal on DraftKings. Yeah, I do, Gambit. Derrick Rose just works better off the bench. Genre, I assume so play him means so play John Wall. Why? They don't have any incentive to do so. John Wall's not a part of their future. They're doing exactly what they should. At 281.6, 9/10 of a point actually here. Tyus Jones, Van Vliet, Trent, Barnes, Precious, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, and Chimezie Metu. You can also swap this lineup out just simply going from Chris Paul to CJ. Wild. So much Toronto. Well, technically, I think John Wall came out and asked to start, and they told him no, I believe. Which is exactly what they should say. All right, so Precious Achiuwa is very, very, very clearly the best option on DraftKings today. Genre, it's not a good idea for them to try to buy him out unless he's willing to take a massive haircut. Because a bought out contract is the only asset that you can't move. The moment you buy someone out, that money is dead to you. John Wall can be aggregated as salary in all trades moving forward. And as we get closer to the end of his contract, it becomes easier and easier to move in a bigger deal. Buying someone out should be an absolute last resort because you can never trade that cap hit. Yeah, Precious Achiuwa just looks like a monster play today if he's going to be able to play 30 minutes. Fantasy point per minute type guy, like, that looks good. It's a, 5x plus 10. We're talking about a little over 30. You're happy with 27, 27, 27, 27, 28. Like, that's all going to be fine. Not far away from being able to fall into that 30 too. Let's look at the power. Whoa, we already did the power rankings. Never mind. Power rankings for DraftKings. Precious Achiuwa by 20 miles. And then Gary Trent if he plays, Scotty Barnes, Fred Van Vliet, Sadiq Bey, Bruce Brown. There's no value on this slate. Good God. Bruce Brown had -1 the last time out. But what you're hoping for on Bruce Brown are these 32-point days. Siakam, Ayton, Paul, Lillard, Booker, Tyus Jones. So it's basically the Raptors and everybody else. Man, that's scary. Oh, this is a hard slate. This is a really hard slate. Very, very difficult slate. But that's it, everybody. I think we're done here. Bang. If you haven't hit the like button yet, do so. One last shout out for Prize Picks, the presenting sponsor of this show. We've got a strategy show with myself and Adam at 10. We've got I'm on the breakfast menu with Ben today. I'll have some NBA player prop bets, so check those out. What else we got? Contenders will be out within the next hour and a half or so. No live before lock for me today, so keep your eyes peeled to my Twitter at Josh Engelman if you're looking for updates to my sims. I'm actually going to have some time this afternoon to do a little bit of work, and I want to try to make up some more views and ways for us to look at some of this data. So we're going to do that for today. At least I hope I am. I have a ton of laundry to do today. Not that you guys care, but that needs to happen. I think that's about it, everybody. I think we're done here. I appreciate having everybody. It's been a great show. We're back again tomorrow. Another 9-gamer. Then we got another 5, then another 9. I love this week for DFS. That's all I got, everybody. Make sure you're tuning into everything else we've got going on today. Please hit that like button if you haven't done it. Good luck. Win money. You know where we're going to be. Right back here tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Eastern, for the process.
Flinch challenge table at the controller. Picture me. My wrist is frozen. Going in my body, I'm chosen. I'm about to go wide open. She off the burger, see? For the game. She know turns my addiction to the fog. Oh, my niggas down the vibe. Play with mouth and be up the knob. Yeah, be in a murder homicide. My niggas really go for war.